All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is now 3 o'clock. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Merced County Association of Governments. And I will ask, Director McDaniel to lead us in the flag salute.
Man, you are prompt.
Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance to the greatest country on earth. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3, 4, 5. Pedroso's here, so we got 6. We have a quorum. All right. Roll call, please.
Director Kale?
Here.
Director Reed?
Here.
Director Ford? Director Samra? Director Amabile? Director Serrato? Director Pacheco? Director Pedroso? Director McDaniel?
Present.
Director Pereira? Director Silvera?
Present. Let the record reflect that Director Amabile is here.
And we officially have a quorum then.
And I know that Director Pedroso literally stepped out for a second, but is here. All right, moving right along. Item number 2 is approval of the agenda.
I need
You need to make a change. All right.
Well, after the change, I will make a motion.
Mr. Chair, if we could ask to take items 11A and 11B under the Regional Waste Management Authority agenda, if we could just flip those and take item B first, please.
Not a problem. All right.
That recommendation, I will make a motion.
All right. We have a motion by Director McDaniel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Reed. Is there any public comment on this item? Not seeing anyone. Call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving right along to public comment. This is a public comment is available in advance of or during the meeting. See instructions for public comment on page 2 of the agenda packet. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment? Not seeing or hearing anybody. Anybody on? We do online too, right?
Yep.
All right. Nobody online. All right. Move.
Mr. Chair, we did receive a letter from the City of Merced pertaining to item 7B, and copies are placed at the dais for your review.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Moving along. Item number 4, reports and presentations. We have none. Oh, we didn't get there. Oh, darn it. I had something to tell them.
Then go ahead.
All right. Caltrans, I hate to put you on the spot, but if you don't have a report, I just have a couple things I'd like to report out to you. So, if you,
Yep. And if I could, Mr. Chair, just out of fairness to our team at Caltrans District 10, with the events of the CTC, we had asked if it would be okay to skip a Caltrans report this month for the expediency of our meeting. So they would have had one, but we had asked them not to. But it does sound like you might have questions. Sorry.
no, I do appreciate that, and yes, this is not any reflection of you. I know that we had a quite eventful day today with the California Transportation Commission being on site in Merced County, not only doing a tour, but hosting, I think they're still in their meeting right now as we speak. So I had a coffee last week, and one of the things that came up, and I told them that I would be seeing you guys today, and I would pass along with it is at Henry Miller and Highway 165 Mercy Springs, whatever you want to call it right there. That intersection years ago used to be just you only stopped on the Henry Miller side of it, and they turned it into a 4-way stop. And it's not all year long, but at this time of the year, with all of the agricultural traffic that's coming through there, on a daily basis, the traffic is just backed up, like all 4 ways of folks trying to get across there. I do know that there's been a couple accidents, but because the traffic is going relatively slow, they've been, no major injuries or anything. So I guess I just wanted to highlight that for you so that you can put that and maybe kind of look into that, and we can start the conversation of what does that intersection look like in the future as what is happening is you're finding a lot of traffic that is bypassing the city of Los Manis and coming on the east side of town, coming down Delta Road, Henry Miller Road, or excuse me, Turner Island Road, and catching Henry Miller and kind of especially the tomato truck traffic, and so it's causing some challenges in there. I know. All right, that's all I had. I just wanted to make sure I got that on the record. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Thank you guys both so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I just needed to get that out. Okay, so moving along, item number 5, informational items. These items are included for informational purpose. No presentation will be made by staff unless board members have questions. Are there any questions on items 5? Let the record reflect that Director Serrato is present. All right, moving right along. Item number 6, this is a consent calendar. All consent calendar items listed below may be acted upon with one vote unless specifically removed for separate consideration by a member of the board, a member of staff, or a member of the public. So, first question, any members of the board would like to remove an item? Would anybody from the public like to remove an item for separate consideration? Not seeing anyone. Are there any comments by the public on this item? Not seeing any. Any comments by members of the board?
Move to approve by Amabil.
Second, Pedroso.
So we have a motion by Director Amabil, a second by Director Pedroso. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving along to item 7, Merced County Association of Governments. These action items will be considered separately by the board. Public comment will be available during each item. Item 7A is approve the establishment of an MCAG Academy program for the purpose of engaging the public in the work of the agency. And we will go to Mary Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the board, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a proposed program, and this is an action item. By way of background, last year the board took action to dissolve the Citizens Advisory Committee, and at that same time directed staff to create a new program for citizen engagement at MCAG, because the bylaws of the board do call for us to have something in place to interact with the public about the work that we do. And the proposed program, we have titled it the MCAG Community Academy. So we're going to talk today a little bit about the tenets of the program, timeline, content, the application process, and tell you a little bit about the discussions we've had with folks about it. So really the overall purpose of the Academy is to make sure there's an intentional space for both MCAG and the public to work together and communicate, gather feedback from the public on proposed policies, programs, services, as it pertains to the realms of transportation planning and public transit. We also want to provide the public with the opportunity to gather information and share it out to the community. And overall, it just ensures transparency in the work that we do, which is a major pillar of MCAG. So this program is proposed to be permanent, but it will occur in one-year cycles where a cohort of individuals will be together for an entire calendar year. That these folks will be appointed by the board after submitting an application. There's no limit to the number of people that we can take. However, ideally in this first year, staff are really thinking we'd like about a dozen people, give or take a couple, to really help us work out the kinks of the program in year one and make sure we're really putting together a good quality program. Those folks will gather 4 times, once per quarter, for half-day sessions where they're really going to take a deep dive into the work that we do as an agency. And it will conclude with an informal graduation upon which they will be given the title of MCAG Ambassador. And the goal is over time we will grow this group of MCAG ambassadors to be a subset of the community that we can go to when we have new policies or programs or those annual plans where we need feedback to both get their feedback directly and help us share it with the community. So in terms of what we're going to be talking to them about, it's a lot of the stuff that you hear about every month. It'll be our regional transportation planning work, our public transit systems, programs like active transportation, all the work that we do to achieve air quality goals and why we do those things, how decisions are made both at the local, state, and federal level about transportation, and how important it is that the public engages with the work they do and the impacts that they can have. Passenger rail, which is a hot topic always, and how housing, land use, and transportation all work together. There will be an application process. As I mentioned, there's a draft application in your agenda packets for you to review. Really, the only qualifications are that we want them to live in Merced County and be an adult. They have to commit to all 4 sessions. There's only 4. We've identified the dates and put them on the application. And so we want them to say, yes, I'm going to see this all the way through to the end of the year. This is open to anyone. We will provide interpretation to them in their language that they need upon request. There's a section in the application for that where they can identify their language needs. And then all eligible applications will come to the governing board for review and appointment in January. There's no cost to apply for or participate in the academy. There's some cost to the agency in terms of staff time. We will provide them lunch at these 4 sessions, and if we do need any interpretation or translation services. However, every year we have element 100 in our overall work plan about public engagement and intergovernmental coordination that directly provides for this kind of work. And this was this has always captured the work that we did for our CAC and other outreach and engagement efforts throughout the year. We did run this program and this proposal by former CAC members. We invited all of our CAC members to a discussion about this, and we did have a few that showed up. And we asked them for feedback on the name of the program, the application process, the content, any outreach efforts associated with it. And overall, it was very positively received. And we got some good feedback from them and some ideas for how to do some recruitment especially. And then we met with the TRB yesterday and also presented this to them. They had some good questions. We had some good discussion. And we feel good about the partnership we have with the jurisdictions in terms of getting the word out. And they already expressed some ideas about getting some folks on the committees within the cities, for example, involved in the process as well. So in terms of timeline, upon approval today, we will immediately go out and solicit applicants through the end of the year. We already have one in hand from a former CAC member. Those will come to you in January for consideration. And you can see here the 4 Fridays throughout 2026 that we've identified to have our half-day sessions. These are Friday afternoons. And it is during the workday. However, we selected Fridays in the hopes that with enough notice, even people who are working could make accommodations in their schedule. At the end of the year, at the December board meeting, we will recognize them here and at a little, brief graduation ceremony, and then invite them to our holiday open house immediately following, where we can celebrate their accomplishments. So again, the action requested today is to approve the establishment of the MCAG Academy program for the purpose of engaging the public in the work of MCAG. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mayor Michael. Are there any questions by members of the board? Not seeing. Yeah, go ahead. Director Pedroso.
So I know that some people that were on the Citizens Advisory on the Citizens Advisory Committee might be interested in doing this as well. Are they welcome to apply?
Yes, and we've already had one.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, any questions from members of the public? Not seeing or hearing anyone. Anybody online? None? All right, bring it back to the dais. Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Director Reed and a second by Director Pedroso. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next is item 7B, authorize the Executive Director to execute an MOU with Merced County for the transition of regional geographic information system data, maintenance responsibilities from MCAG to the county and allocate $32,000 from Merced Data Special Services to Merced County to support staff time associated with the transition. And we will go to Meg.
Thank you, and good afternoon. So MCAG has provided geographic information systems services to member agencies and other agencies throughout Merced County for a couple of decades. This support was partially fulfilled through a nonprofit entity established by MCAG called Merced Data Special Services, or MDSS. And our role in maintaining the regional data sets will included parcels, zoning, and addresses, as well as a publicly accessible portal. So due to staffing changes, MCAG is no longer able to provide these services in-house. We've had discussions with each of the 6 cities in the county, and the county is willing to take on this regional data maintenance role. The county's GIS division has the technical expertise and the staff to manage these regional data sets, and they offer some efficiencies since the assessor's office maintains the parcel data set, and also long-term stability, just they have several staff versus just the one staff that MCAG had. So we've been coordinating with the county on a transition plan, and as part of that, an MOU outlining the roles and responsibilities and expectations for both MCAG and the county during this transition process. The MOU also includes $32,000 in funding from MDSS to the county to cover the estimated staff time for the transition period. This MOU is just set for a 1-year period. And during this 1-year transition period, the county will be coordinating with each of the 6 cities to develop one-on-one agreements for ongoing support, because the level of effort or level of support needed by jurisdiction varies, since some have in-staff GIS or some don't have in-house GIS staff. So the requested board action is to authorize the executive director to execute the MOU with Merced County for the transition of GIS responsibilities for this 1-year period, and then also allocate $32,000 from MDSS to support county staff time during that transition. And then I also want to mention that we did receive a written comment on this agenda item from the City of Merced. You should have that letter in front of you. In summary, the city expressed support for the county taking on the GIS maintenance role and offered some recommendations to consider as part phase 2, which will be planning during this initial transition phase. And we appreciate the city's input. I know that they're present here today, as well as the county. And we remain committed to working closely with all the member agencies to ensure a smooth transition, and that these important data sets are active and available. With that, I can answer any questions.
Any members of the board? Director McDaniel?
No, I do like this. Mr. Barreras, I see him present here. He does such a fantastic job with this GIS, and we have taken it to a whole nother level. And I think this is an opportunity for us to participate with all the cities and everything. I look forward to this. This is really good system that we're running here. And just the continued support will be very good. Thanks to Mr. Barrera's leadership in this. Thanks.
Are there any other questions from the dais? Before I open it up to public comment, I was informed by council that I have to read the whole letter that came from the City of Merced. So if you want, yeah, I'll have you read it. That'll be better.
I mean, no offense.
Okay. The City of Merced appreciates the opportunity to provide input to MCAG and Merced County regarding the transition of regional GIS responsibilities. We fully support this next step in strengthening the countywide GIS program and share the common goal of maintaining a coordinated, high-quality system that supports local planning, transportation, emergency response, and public transparency. Through our review of the proposed MOU and staff report, the city identified a few areas we hope can be addressed as part of phase 2 of the transition. These items are not objections, but rather partnership-oriented recommendations intended to ensure continued equity, sustainability, and participation for all jurisdictions moving forward. Number 1, governance and collaboration. The city supports the county's role in operational GIS management and recommends that phase 2 includes a regional GIS steering committee or governance working group. This group, made up of representatives from each incorporated city and the county, could provide ongoing coordination, policy guidance, and input on shared data, standards, and project priorities. Establishing this forum early would help maintain the collaborative structure that has long supported regional GIS success under MCAG. Additionally, clarification on the current status of Merced Data Special Services would be helpful, as it has previously served as a neutral custodian for regional GIS assets. Understanding whether MDSS retains any relevant data or resources would ensure a smooth and transparent transition. 2. Data ownership and access. To preserve open and equitable access to GIS resources, the City recommends that Phase 2 of the transition and any related agreements include clarifying language either within Section 6 of the MOU or in separate agreements specifying that the county will serve as the data custodian and regional host rather than the exclusive owner of regional data. This would confirm that each jurisdiction retains ownership and publication rights for its own data sets, zoning, general plan, sphere of influence layers. The county manages and integrates data regionally, and there is a clear process for resolving data discrepancies and updates collaboratively. This approach maintains transparency while honoring the local stewardship of city-generated datasets. 3. Long-term funding and sustainability. The city appreciates the transition funding and initial year of license support outlined in the MOU. Looking ahead, we suggest Phase 2 include a sustainable cost-sharing model that provides long-term stability without duplicating existing MCAG dues. A clear framework for software renewals, hosting, and staff support beyond fiscal year 25-26 will help ensure consistent service levels for all participating jurisdictions. 4. Continued partnership and communication. The city recommends convening a joint discussion among MCAG, the county, and all incorporated cities. This would provide an opportunity to discuss governance, data stewardship, and funding strategies in an open, collaborative forum before entering Phase 2. We value our strong working relationship with both MCAG and Merced County and look forward to partnering on this next evolution of the regional GIS program. Together, we can ensure that the system continues to serve all jurisdictions efficiently, equitably, and transparently. Thank you for your consideration and for the continued spirit of regional cooperation.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Michael. All right. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item? I'll take you, and then I'll get you right afterwards.
Hello, Jeff Benioff, City of Merced, Director of IT. Not much to say. I didn't realize the letter was going to be read in full, but basically I'm here to basically repeat what's in the letter. We really look forward to working with you on this regional partnership. We really appreciate MCAG and the county bringing forward this regional partnership, and we're looking forward to Phase 2 of the agreement.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Robert Delina. I'm a local real estate broker and land developer. And as someone who utilizes the GIS system literally daily, very thankful for its presence. It's nice to have readily available data there. The only thing that I wanted to comment on as you're looking to transition the maintenance is that there is a broken functionality in the system that's been broken since the remodel began here at this office. And I think I know what happened, but I tried alerting the county staff, but nobody could quite figure it out. One of the layers that you guys have available on there has a link directly to the assessor's map that is supposed to be just public info, and it's worked for as long as I've been using the GIS system, a decade or so. When the remodel began, I suspect the images that those links go to are sitting on a computer somewhere in the assessor's office. That computer probably got unplugged and never got reinstalled again. And so it's been a little over a year now that none of the links that are in the GIS system actually go to the assessor's maps for those properties. So as this maintenance agreement transitions over, would love to see that server, wherever it is, get plugged back in so that the GIS system will continue to have that data available. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
That's good feedback.
All right. Any other members of the public wish to comment on this item? Not seeing anyone. We'll bring it back to the dais. Chair will entertain a motion. So we have a motion by Director McDaniel.
Second.
I'm going to go with Pacheco. I think I saw his lips move first, so I'm going to go just second by Director Pacheco. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. And thank you for those comments from the City of Merced and Mr. Delina, and that's very helpful as we develop Phase 2. I think that those things will be incorporated into that, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. Item 8, discussion items. These items will be presented separately in order to allow the board members to ask questions or to provide staff direction. And I gotta go to my next page. I have 8A, B, and C. Item 8A is the fiscal year 26-27 unmet transit needs process, and we're going to Elizabeth.
Good afternoon. This is our annual process for unmet transit needs, as the chair just mentioned. It is a requirement under the State Transportation Development Act. One of the purposes of this process is to solicit feedback. The main purpose of the process is to solicit feedback from the residents and riders in our area. Once we assess that feedback and make decisions about the feedback, that's when we can talk about new service that needs to be provided and potentially use funding for streets and road once all needs are satisfied. We're in the midst of the comment collection period. So about mid-September to October 31st, we're collecting comments countywide. We're advertising on social media. It's on the buses. We've already got a lot of comments through surveys, Facebook, etc. We have 6 hearings scheduled and noticed. We had one in Hillmar. There's one noticed for here today. And we have a couple online. We have one at the new Dale Hill Hall. So we're trying to get all over the county. One in at MCOE office coming up soon. So we're trying to collect lots of comments. The types of comments we're looking at are those where there may be gaps in service, so where it might not be frequent enough, where it might not go, those types of things. And we're hearing a lot about bus stop infrastructure improvements. So I just say it like that because you're going to hear more about that moving forward in the next couple of years about bus stop improvements. So essentially, we're collecting all of the comments, and we'll be meeting with our Social Service Transportation Advisory Council to review them, and then coming back to this board with the ones that are noted as being reasonable to meet by our transit agency for implementation. So you'll see them again probably in February is the schedule. So we have a hearing today to collect comments as part of this process as well. It's what's scheduled.
Perfect. Before we open the public hearing, does any members of the board have any questions for Elizabeth? Not seeing any. We will open the public hearing at 3:27 p.m. Is there any members of the public that will wish to comment on this item? Is there anybody online? All right, not seeing anybody. We will close the public hearing at 3:27 p.m. And we don't need to take any action on this item. It was just a public hearing. Thank you. Item 8B, unmet transit. Oh, I just did that. Okay. Item 8C, financial update. We're going to go to Nav. Why do you do that? Why you?
It's going to be a 10-minute presentation, so.
Well, you got 3, sir. So let's make it happen.
All right. It's been a while since I gave a financial update to this board. So starting off with the MPO, MCAG budget, as you know, MCAG as an umbrella, all staff for RWA, TJPA, YARDS are MCAG employees. As you can see, some accomplishments for fiscal year 24-25. Yeah. 25-25. We did, Elizabeth's department has completed the Regional Active Transportation Plan, Multi-Jurisdictional Local Road Safety Plan, Houston Merced Consolidation Study, and they did much more planning studies and also kicked off the RTP. As you can see, there's a shortfall of $69,000. We haven't closed out our books, and we still have a couple of invoices to invoice our federal agencies. I picked the top 80% of our revenues. As I mentioned, all of our employees are MCAG employees. So when we call contract services, we bill all the agencies. There's a not a shortfall, but we expected $8 million revenue, received 7.2. That's because either we have vacancies or we had some overtime plan that we didn't utilize. Federal funding, Caltrans makes this program all the dollars into the budget, even though we're not going to spend it in that fiscal year. So what happens to that difference gets carried over to fiscal year 25-26. And then Measure V, we added more money to that account, anticipating that we're going to have a vacancy filled. We haven't filled that position yet, so you see a shortfall of revenues. Salaries, as I mentioned, vacancies along with unutilized overtime. professional services, we still, even though we don't do those studies, we still have to put those in our budget to balance our budgets. And then insurance costs, as we know, these are just insurance for our agencies overall, not health insurance. As we know, across the board, insurance went up. Audits, we're doing TDA audits that go back to 16, 17, or 17, 18, all the way back to 17, 18 for each jurisdiction. So we're hopefully to complete that by December of this year. Does anybody have any questions about MCAG?
Any questions on MCAG? Director McDaniel?
Yeah, thanks now for the presentation.
I got more.
Well, what I say on the 56% shortfall, and you said that's because of invoices out, but because of the
On the
current station for the federal government.
Oh, these funds are already programmed. So as long as you'll see next month, I'll bring an item to the board.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with
No.
current.
So these are the PO funds that are, so the way that it works for the MPO is it's federal funds that go to the state, then get allocated to us. So as long as we program those funds, we don't lose those funds. So I'll bring an item next month programming the 25, 26 funds with the carryover. So then we lock it in. So we don't lose those funds.
Answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
Talk about Measure V. This number on the bottom, $191 million, is what's been collected for Measure V since inception. For fiscal year 24-25, Measure V generated about $26.7 million. $13.3 million went back to the jurisdiction. $11 million went to the regional projects, and 1.3 to transit, and the remaining 267 went to admin services. Does anybody have any questions about Measure V?
Any questions on Measure V?
All right, moving on to TJPA. How are we doing on time, Mr. Chair? We're pretty good.
Yeah, you got a minute left. You're good.
All right. So some accomplishments for TJPA: we purchased 12 cutaways, 4 electric buses, installed some fare boxes. The last phase of those fare boxes will be happening in 25-26. That's basically installing the tap card feature along with the NAP. And then we acquired the Beechcraft property. We'll bring an item to the board hopefully later this year to do a zero emission of facilities, just run down the revenues. We have a shortfall of $1.4 million. We still haven't collected this fourth quarter of our state funds. So that's why you see a shortfall. But we're trying to utilize all our funds. As you can see, our federal funds, we expended 98% of it, along with state funds, 61%. Our local funds, we have more money than we generated more revenues than we budgeted. That's because of enrollment, fare boxes, and then also UC Merced. We bill UC Merced based on service hours. And then we go into expenditures. We are almost there with our service contractor, professional services. We anticipated some studies, but we never started. We'll probably start this year. Fuel costs, fuel prices were down compared to 23, 24. And then maintenance costs, we did a lot last year. So in the 24, 25, we were able to save some money. Does anybody have any question about TJPA?
Are there any questions about TJPA's budget overview? All right, moving on.
Right, moving on to RWA. We did, James and their staff, they were able to mitigate gas migration for the east side buffer, which will help us start planning for the value fill. That extends the life of our landfill by at least 17 years. We also upgraded our flare systems. We started a legal dumping program. That program didn't get utilized until February of this year, but since February to June, the county, in partnership with the county, they were able to collect over 200 tons of illegal dumping. And then we also purchased a roll-off truck. So just to look at our revenue expenditures, we had $28 million in revenues, $15 million in expenditures, and then bond and transfers of projects that was approved by this board. We still have an excess of $4.6 million. You'll see an item later on the agenda talking about what we're going to do with that money. And then we have, so to put waste in our landfill, it costs us money. So last year it cost us about $929,000. Fuel, staffing costs, everything's in line with our budget. So does anybody have any questions?
Are there any questions on RWA? Not seeing any.
Got you.
That's all you have?
That's it.
Very good. Would any member of the public wish to comment on any of those budget updates? Not seeing one. There's no one online. We will now move on to the TJPA. Item number 9, action item. Authorize the executive director to enter into a 5-year contract with 2 one-year extension option years for paratransit eligibility assessment services within the selected vendor, ADARide.com. And we will go to Navneet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, directors. Navneet Matu, Senior Transit Analyst. This item is in regards to the ADA eligibility evaluation and certification for paratransit service. We released an RFP a couple months back, and we received 2 responsive proposals. One was from ADARide.com, and the other one was from Paratransit Inc. This is a cost per application contract. It's not a fixed fee. So we will be evaluating cost based on how many applications we receive every month. So we will be keeping track of how many applications we get. For the first year, we estimated the roughly cost to be about $38,000, and so we will be evaluating that every year. And so we are recommending that you authorize our director to enter into a contract with ADA Ride for the first 5 years with 2 one-year extension options.
All right. Are there any questions by members of the board? Executive director? Not one of us. They don't want us signing it, that's for sure. All right. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item, 9A? Not seeing one. We don't have any comments online. All right. We'll bring it back to the dais. Chair will entertain a motion. I think the first was Pedroso, and I think the second was, I'm going to give it to Director Reed this time. It was really close, Jimmy. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 10, we have none. No discussion items, so we're moving to the Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority action items, and we are going to take first item 11B. Approve fiscal year 24-25 budget amendment number 2 with transfers which transfers $4.2 million in excess revenue from the operating budget to the capital improvement project budget and reallocates $483,029 in capital savings from 3 completed capital improvement projects towards phase 6 of the landfill to gas collection system expansion. I'm gonna guess account number 80077. Sure. All right, and we will go to Nav.
So as Chair Silvera explained, we got some, as I explained earlier, we had some excess revenue. Of the excess revenue, $4.2 million is what we're going to be transferring over to CIPs. We got a list of projects on page 172, a new scale house software, radios. As you know, I don't know if in James's report, we talked about our perimeter fence being burnt down on the west side at Billy Wright, along with our separate fire at our Billy Wright recycling structure fabric, and also looking to put some money aside for a Highway 59 property acquisition of $3.5 million, which gives us $4.2 million. The second part of this approval is allocating funds from projects that's been closed out. As I mentioned in my report, that Highway 59 East Buffer gas collection, by mitigating that, we were able to close this project out, shift $372,000 along with our flare system and our CM trailer expansion, about $483,000, shifting it to the Highway 59 expansion phase 6 landfill gas collection, which will be on the next item, which will give that project in the tune of $684,000 for that budget. So does anybody have any questions?
Are there any questions? I guess I do have one question is what do we attribute the additional revenues to?
Just additional tonnages, out of county waste, just a mix of little things here and there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Bird flu?
We do kind of budget conservatively on the budget. So
Did bird flu contribute to some of it?
yes, $1.2 million.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, are there any members of the public that wish to comment on item 11B? Not seeing anyone or hearing anyone, we'll bring it back to the dais for where the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by Director Amabil. a second by Director Kale. We're getting everybody in on the action today. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, we're moving to item 11A, authorize the executive director to enter into a construction contract for the 2025 gas collection and control system GCCS improvements for phase 6 at the Highway 59 landfill in the amount of $435,200 with Blue Flame Crew. And we will go to, looks like Patrick.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, landfills need to control their emissions, and they do this by installing extraction wells and then handling that gas either through a flare or some other use. So as we put more waste in and dispose of it, we then need to add more extraction wells to continue to capture that methane per state and federal regulations. So this current expansion includes 14 vertical extraction wells and some moving around of our piping so ops can get to the slopes a little bit better. So on August 15th, we released an IFB and we received a total of 2 bids. The lowest responsive and responsible bid was from Blue Flame Crew for $435,201. No protests were received during the prescribed protest period. And per the agency's purchasing policy, 10% of the board approved contract amount is available for change orders as needed at the discretion of the executive director. Therefore, upon execution of the contract, the not to exceed amount will be $478,721, which is what we're seeking approval for.
All right, thank you, sir. Are there any questions by members of the board? Are there any questions by members of the public? Not seeing anyone. We're going back to the days. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
We have a motion by Director Serrato.
Second.
We have a second by Director Reed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We have no discussion items under the Regional Waste Management Authority, so we're going to move on to other reports. Item 13 is the Executive Director's Report. You have 2 minutes.
Per agency, right? No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick thank you to many of you who joined us this morning for the tour with the California Transportation Commission. I thought that everything went really well. I know, it was a bit of an informal setting in the conversation, but that was what we intended, was to have those conversations on the bus, have them be able to ask questions, and I think everything has gone really well. Also, a thank you to our chair and to Director Serrato for participating in the opening welcome to the region. I thought that also was a great reflection of our community and partnership. So the meeting at the CTC is still ongoing. They typically will wrap up at about 4:30ish. So we'll be heading back there. But also, please, if you can stick around, we will be ready for the reception at 5 o'clock. So whenever they're ready, the reception's happening in the lobby of City Hall. So we'll have food and drink, and we'll be ready. So we hope to see you all there. That's open to whomever would like to attend. A great opportunity to meet with some of the commissioners as well. And then lastly, I'll just mention that I am leaving out of town tomorrow evening and will be gone all of next week at Disneyland and Legoland with my kids. So if you have, just call Nav. All questions, call Nav. No, you can call me too, but I might just be a little slow. But call Nav, because he'll figure it out faster than me.
Very good.
Yeah.
Are there any other members of the board who wish to make comment? Not seeing anyone. Before I adjourn the meeting, I just want to give you one quick comment. I just want to thank staff as I get to see new faces come up here and make presentations. I always think it's helpful. We get to see a lot of the department heads giving these presentations, but when we get to see some other folks giving them the opportunity to interact with us, I think that's always good in trying to help secure our bench. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 3:44. Thank you, everybody, for a fast, fair, and efficient meeting.